Hey everyone, this is Jack from Karmalama coming back at you with another AskReddit video. Today's post is by Random Chicken Wing, who asks, what do you think is the most interesting psychology phenomenon? So let's get straight into it. If you're talking to someone intently and you hand them something, more often than not they'll take it. Doesn't matter if it's a book, a pen or an orange. No idea what the phenomenon is called or even if it's psychological, but it's made for some great pranks. In the same vein, you can look straight upwards in the sky in a public location and everyone else around you will look up too. Similar results if you start screaming on a flight, especially when you're the pilot. Locus of control, or LOC, basically is how you view control over your own life. People either have an internal locus of control where they believe they have the power to control their own lives, or an external locus of control where you believe everything in life comes from a source other than yourself. I got fired because my boss hates me. I was late because of traffic, etc. Now what's interesting is that studies have shown people with an internal locus of control find greater satisfaction and success in almost every aspect of life. Except one, being in a nursing home. Drives internal locus of control people crazy while external people thrive. Childhood amnesia. The fact that up until a certain point you don't remember things. My first memory isn't until I was 6. My wife's is when she was 2. Hers seems to be emotionally based, so they're sparse and fleeting. Mine are just like I suddenly had a switch flipped, and there I was. You skipped your backstory. If you get yourself to be really happy and excited to see other people, they will react the same to you. It doesn't always happen the first time, but it definitely will happen next time. Time and again, this has always worked fine for me. How do you do that? Just act like a dog. Dogs are always excited to see new people. So, wag my butt and lick their face? If that doesn't work, try wagging your face and licking their butt. The placebo effect. The idea that a belief in something can actually have a positive impact on the body just seems so crazy to me. Also helped me realise inversely why stress and anxiety can take such a toll on you. Funny enough, placebo also works when you know it's placebo. Somehow, deep down, there is something in you that wants to believe despite all reasonable arguments against it. Also, nocebo is a thing. When you expect something to harm you, it will. It makes a lot of treatments complicated. On one hand, you want the patient aware of the side effects. On the other, you don't want them to generate them by the nocebo effect. Deja vu. To have such a strong feeling that an instance has happened before is crazy. Like you experienced it in the past, or dreamed of it. The other vus are fascinating too. Pressed view is when something is on the tip of your tongue but you can't remember it. Jamais vu is when something familiar seems unfamiliar. It's the opposite of deja vu. How I can have a surprise in my dream. Like something will happen and I'll be confused about it, then someone will explain it by giving new information, and then it makes sense. But all of this is created by my own brain while I'm dreaming. How can I reveal new information to myself to explain something? This also fascinates me. My brain has created things in my dreams that baffle me to this day, but isn't my brain supposed to be me? So where are these creations coming from? Denial. The many answers to evade the truth are very creative. Denial is rooted in perception of threat. If you manage to convey the same words in a way that doesn't make it as a threat, you'll shave off most of it. Playing. When two animals play with each other, they both communicate aggression. They show fangs, claws, they bite, they go for the neck, etc. Everything about it should communicate danger, but they never feel endangered, even when one animal accidentally hurts another. This happens even when animals are playing with animals they have barely known for some time. It blows my mind how the right context completely transforms all of the communication between animals who play. My understanding is that dogs have little pauses throughout a play fight that confirms it's just playing. And that dogs who get so riled up when humans play fight is because they sometimes can't tell when it's for real. Psychosomatic symptoms. How can you have all of these physical complaints or symptoms, but physiologically there's nothing causing it? How can things literally be all in your head? Super interesting. Dissociative disorders. A dissociative disorder is a mental disorder that involves experiencing a disconnection and lack of continuity between thoughts, memories, surroundings, actions, and identity. People with dissociative disorders escape reality in ways that are involuntary and unhealthy, and cause problems with functioning in everyday life. How laughter affects people. Laughter is basically the yin to stress's yang, which inspires me to make people laugh when I can, as I don't know what they're going through. Laughter increases things like dopamine, and can even help soothe physical pain sometimes. Even smiling, lifting the corners of your mouth alone has positive effects on you, even if you force it. Man, the human brain is a weird and f***ed up thing. It's like millions of years of spaghetti code in there. I'm probably late to this thread, but I find the call of the void an interesting phenomenon. It's that feeling you get when you stand on a high place and subconsciously think, I could totally jump off right now. But you don't really want to, and you don't actually jump. I experienced this multiple times on my most recent trip to Europe. I tried explaining this to a family member the other day. Almost every single time I'm in a moving car in the back seat, I think about opening the door. I would never actually do it, but the urge is so strong that I have to put my hand on the handle and pull it. With the door locked, of course. Seems relative. For me, it's the unconscious mind, and the fact that it accounts for the majority of our cognitive activity. I think it's interesting how we can simultaneously both know and not know things. It is also interesting, and perhaps even frightening, that we are not running the show to the extent that we think we are, at least not consciously. Why do people have favourites? Like a favourite colour or a favourite flower? Or a favourite child, damn it! Mum, what did I do to you? How people who hate themselves hate people who like them. How can I not think my friend is a shitty person when I see who he hangs out with? Well, at least they're being consistent. We tend to hate people that have the same flaws and make the same mistakes as we do. When I drive, I hate cyclists. When I'm on my bike, I hate drivers. I hate both all the time. The bystander effect. Everyone thinks they would help if something happens, but the effect says that the more people there are, the less someone is going to help. I experienced this today on my commute. I started to get really dizzy and lightheaded and tunnel vision. I was too out of it to ask for help, and everyone was just ignoring me. Until this one little old lady bullied someone into giving me their seat. All of a sudden I was surrounded by help. Someone was fanning me, another person gave me tissues, etc. I'm so incredibly grateful to that one woman who stopped to ask if I was alright. And that's it for today's AskReddit video. I don't know about you guys, but I found this one really interesting. This user's comment about dreams is fascinating, and it's true that in most dreams, our conscious mind is like an observer. The situation we find ourselves in has already been decided for us by something else. We're just kind of along for the ride. Our unconscious mind also kind of dictates our instinct reactions to something. If we talk to somebody who's smiling and excited about something, we naturally feel similar. The mirroring of body language is a tactic used by salespeople because it builds rapport and makes the salesperson more relatable to us, without us even knowing it. These answers just reinforce the idea that we aren't as in control of our inner state as we'd like to be. But you can always hack the system. If you are ever down, just try forcing yourself to smile and see how that makes you feel. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you next time.